Welcome into the hub. My name is Stephen Humes, and I'm here with my boy Gabriel Apria, and you have found us. You have found the craft beer podcast you've been looking for. Welcome to it. This is round 76.
Oh, damn.
And we're here. We're in it. It's June now, and we're going to visit Anderson Valley out of sunny, beautiful California.
Hell yeah. Heading back to California. We've been there many times, but we have some new and exciting beers. Hey, Steven, remember last week when I was like, maybe we'll do an episode just full of sours?
I do remember you saying that, yeah.
Well, we're in it now.
We're in it now. Here we are. So we've been kind of IPA heavy lately. It felt like it was time to bring one around for the sour heads. So listen up, sour people. This one's for you. And we found a great brewery that also happens to brew a whole lot more than sours. So,
yes.
But we're drinking all sours. Anderson Valley Brewing out of California. Been in the game forever. I would even say five ever. They've been at it since the 80s. They're one of the kind of craft beer pioneers in America.
We reported about them not too long ago. They just changed their logo a little bit. The beer with the antlers. And we have our can artwork is the old school. It's the throwback logos, but there's nothing wrong with
cans,
that.
But but they got they're unveiling a new can lineup. So slowly over the course of the year, you're going to see that new logo hitting shelves. So that's exciting, and we're excited to be with them, and we're excited to have you with us. And you can follow the show at the HO Podcast. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter, like everyone is, and we love to engage with our audience and our fellow podcast makers and everyone else. So if you're of the beer ilk and you're on social media, come chat with us, hit us up. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. We are a video podcast. You can check us out on there. You can see the beers, you can see our faces. Just search for the Hop of Craft Beer Podcast. And once you found us, subscribe and click that bell. You'll get a notification every week when an episode drops or if we do fun videos in between. You can also subscribe to the show on Spotify or follow or whatever on Apple Podcasts. I don't know.
Whatever the button is, we don't know.
Whatever Apple's new situation is, they need to figure that out. But you can follow the show over there and you can rate, review. We appreciate it. We love it when people do that to us. So if you have thoughts and you want to make them known, do it on Apple Podcasts. Their new platform kind of sucks, but you can still rate and review over there. That still is available.
It still works. Like, we're not trying to say it doesn't work. It's just weird. You got to follow, and there's like a weird, we don't know.
It's not great. They need to work on it. I'll say that.
As always, let us know what breweries to hit up next. Let us know what breweries to repeat. For any other beer podcaster or regular podcaster who has reached out to us and engaged with us, thank you. Please continue to do that. We love talking to you guys and hearing your thoughts and seeing what beers you guys are drinking, because let me tell you something. I'm going to brag just a tiny bit. Last week's for 14th Star, like those photos, I was like, these are some good photos we took. Then I go online and I'm like, whoa. So I don't know if y'all got professional photographers or if you guys are just good with the camera, but they all look sick.
The Beerfluencer Society is strong, and they know how to take pictures. They know how to make some beer look good out there on Instagram.
They definitely do. The can, the glass, they got the whole bits, a whole thing. It's great.
Gabe, how you feeling? You ready to get into this? I feel like we should tell the people
It is so unbelievably hot. I just need to get that out there. If I start sweating, it's because New York City is a fickle bitch. But other than that, I'm great.
I was just going to say, I feel like we should tell the people that you've aged. You don't get the birthday drop.
I?
You don't get the birthday drop because your birthday wasn't on the day of an episode. But one year when your cycles sync like mine did, you'll get to have the drop. But other than that, Gabe did recently turn 28. So congratulations.
Hey, man. Thanks. I try. I put a lot of work and effort into it.
Another journey around the sun. You did it.
I'm old.
All right, we're going to get into some news now.
Beer news.
All right, highlights going around the beer world. Constellation Brands has announced that they're going to build a new brewery in the southeast of Mexico. Constellation Brands, of course, They are the U.S. brewery that brews Corona, brews Modelo, brews Pacifico. They've announced, along with Mexico's president, they're going to build a new brewery in the southeast of Mexico. So that should be exciting.
That's sick,
Summer's
especially
here.
if you're going on vacation. Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be great for, if they get it done and they get it approved. Probably won't see it for a while, but it would be great for the economy of Mexico and also for Constellation. Summer's here. Summer's beers are here. Look out for that. And Pride Month is here as well, if you haven't noticed. So look out for beers brewed in celebration of Pride, and also, more importantly, I guess, beers brewed in support of Pride, and purchase them if you can. Some recent ones that have been announced include Four Peaks, Barrel House Z, and Nine Pin Cider, but they're cropping up all over the place. Our first story, get a shot, get a beer. If you haven't heard about this, ABI, Anheuser-Busch, has teamed up with the White House to encourage vaccinations. They've teamed up with Joey B for the... whatever he's calling it, the month of progress or whatever it is. But the company the company offered to buy every legal adult a beer or a drink if America hits Joe Biden's goal of 70% vaccination by July 4th. Now, admittedly, this is going to be a tough goal to meet. We're not quite there yet. But if you haven't gotten your shot, get the fuck out there and do it, just so we can all get free beer. Now, ABI is referring to this as their largest beer giveaway in history, which is probably true because if everyone decided to participate in it, they would need to give away like millions and millions of beers. So,
oh yeah. Can you imagine?
I mean, yeah, that's
those warehouses
a lot of free
would
beer.
be empty.
Their beer sucks, but if it's free, like Gabe and I like to say, like, free is our favorite flavor. Like, if it's free Budweiser, it's going to taste so much better than Budweiser you paid for.
Wow.
And this also applies to seltzer, non-alcoholic offerings, or anything else that Anheuser-Busch makes. So if you're not a beer person or you're not a drinker or whatever, you can get something else. Eligible adults, if we hit this mark, will just need to upload a picture of yourself at your favorite place to grab a beer, whether that's a bar or your house, to mycooler.com/beer. Then you'll get a $5 virtual debit card that you can use to purchase your beer. So again, I say this is going to be hard to hit, but Gabe and I got the shot. And that's how we get to go travel the East Coast or whatever it is.
Don't say the country because we haven't done that yet.
We haven't done that, but we're working on. We hit New England a lot. We got some more coming up. So yeah, if you haven't gotten vaxxed, get vaxxed. Help us get some free beer. And this is ABI is just one company doing this. Like, thousands of companies and businesses across the nation are doing things like this.
Oh yeah.
But some national ones also include Krispy Kreme, Target, so you can get a free donut and a free beer. And also NASCAR, the NBA, and the MLB have all offered free tickets for on-site vaccinations. I don't really know if that counts for the NBA anymore because, like, that's kind of wrapping up. But MLB, you could get your shot and then go in and watch the game.
But for the NBA, it's playoffs. So, like, if you want to see a game, now is the time.
That's
you know
what I'm
I mean?
saying. I don't know if it counts for the playoffs. Maybe it does. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm currently involved in a basketball league in the city, and they have discounted Nets tickets for people who are vaccinated. So a friend of mine went and saw the first playoff game between the Nets and the Bucks for like a third of what he normally would pay. So get on it.
Get on it. Get that jab. Get the Pfizer Geyser, or whichever one you can get your hands on.
Yeah, honestly, it's just whichever's first.
I'm a Pfizer bitch. All right, go
ahead. Staying in California, Three Weavers Brewing Company was acquired by Canarchy Craft Brewery Collective back in 2018, and now a deal has been struck for the original founder, Lynn Weaver, to reacquire the brewery to, quote, pursue her vision of a Three Weavers brewery, tasting room, and restaurants within the Hollywood Park retail district. Welcome back, Lynn. We missed you. Thank God you're here. No, we don't have any details right now on how much the brewery is sold for, but, we love to see this kind of story, having a founder kind of return to the craft beer scene of where it all began. Three Weavers has some dope beers. I looked at their website very quickly. They have something that's kind of new called It's Blur's Day Rosé Sour, and it looks incredible. Fit for the episode because we're doing all sours.
They also make some dope IPAs. I love Three Weavers. That's one when you're out in California, if you just need one to like reach for, like a go-to, that's a solid option. So
yeah, absolutely. Canarchy's portfolio still includes Oscar Blues, Perrin Brewing Company, Cigar City Brewing, Squatters Craft Beer, Wasatch Brewery, and Deep Elum Brewing Company. So again, Lynn, welcome back.
I think it's Deep Elum. They're out of Texas.
What did I say? Alum?
Elum? Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It sounded like
Deep Elon Musk Brewing Company.
Canarchy is great. It's not like a big beer situation. It's kind of like it's a collective. It's kind of like what Six Point is a part of with like Southern Tier, right? But it's always good to see a brewery return home to the hands that founded it. So congrats, Lynn, on your purchase.
It's dope.
Moving on, the Connecticut Brewers Guild has partnered with the Pink Boots Society. And last week, this partnership unveiled a 4-point anti-sexual harassment plan. This is a big, important step, obviously. It's something we've been talking about a lot over the past couple weeks. The Guild already had a zero-tolerance policy in place with regard to harassment, but as recent events have made painfully clear, it is more can and should be done. So Connecticut is kind of leading the charge on this. Of course, we've talked about this before, but every state has these trade associations, right? It's like there's the national one, which is the Brewers Association, but every state has their own, whether it's the Connecticut Brewers Guild, the Massachusetts, they're all different.
Yeah.
So Connecticut has partnered with the Connecticut chapter of the Pink Boots Society to create this plan. If you're unfamiliar with the Pink Boots Society, their stated mission is to assist, inspire, and encourage women professionals in the alcoholic beverage industry to advance their careers through education. So the 4-point plan, they're going to strengthen their bylaws and remove breweries convicted of wrongdoing from the guild. That's a big step because a lot of times we see these breweries get like accused of or convicted of something, and then management steps down and it kind of scapegoats, but they don't lose their place in the guild.
Yeah, so, that's been a lot of it. It's just kind of like, oh, so and so stepped down. All right, we're in the clear. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah. So this is hopefully creating some more accountability. They're also going to be launching a diversity and inclusion committee to increase gender, race, and sexual orientation equity in the industry. They're going to increase access to anonymous reporting, which, as we've mentioned on the show, can be a barrier. And they're also going to just increase awareness and promote a see something, say something mentality within the industry. So again, it's clearly a step the industry needs, and it's really good for us, for Gabe and I specifically, to see our home state of Connecticut leading the charge on this kind of thing. Hopefully something we'll see more states doing in the future, and definitely, some positive change.
Yeah, great to see that from back home, because we want to see it, not just Connecticut though. We want to see it happen everywhere. It's a must.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned last week the Brewers Association, the national organization, hasn't really done enough. So it's kind of like Connecticut's Brewers Guild is taking things into their own hands. So Brewers Association, we're calling you out. Do more.
Do more.
One last thing to do before we get to the drinking, Gabe.
Yes.
This week in gross.
Son of a bitch, we got another pickle.
We got another pickle.
All right, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
All right, so Coin Toss Brewing has released their Caught in a Pickle lager, and it's basically their half-penny lager blended with, quote, just the right amount of bread and butter pickle juice, which for my mind would be no amount. That's the right amount.
Yeah.
0 would be the right amount.
And here's the thing. Those bread and butter, first of all, they're not called pickles. They're called bread and butter chips.
Yeah.
They're just like crunchy pickles, and they're awesome. But I don't want it in my beer.
It was first conceived back in 2016 for a beer festival they were doing, and apparently they got a hugely positive response. See, this is the problem. These are not these. It's us, and I don't mean you and me. It's us drinkers, like whoever is drinking this stuff and thinking it's a good idea. Look, we've been a little bit lazy on posting it because, frankly, I've been a little slow on the edit process. But Gabe and I have consumed a pickle and a tomato beer that were very highly rated. And I don't want to ruin the video for anyone, but I'm just going to say it was awful.
I still can't see purple. It did things to me, and I'm a different person because of it. So
it was. I'm sorry, but it was two of the worst beers I'd ever had in my life.
That one is very different than this one. That one had other stuff. This one
that was
just
a sour.
has the pickle juice, so maybe it'll be better. But yeah,
it just I don't know. It's again, this is like the third or fourth time we've brought up pickle flavored beers on the show this year, and again
they're popping up everywhere though.
And we said they would, so I guess it's another just point in our pocket, but
check mark. Although I will say the can is kind of cool. The font is very fun. It's lime green. It's the type of green that if Steven held it, it would disappear.
Yes.
But
Coin Toss Brewing's an Oregon City brewery, so if you're in the Oregon area or somewhere near there, you can either purchase it in 4-packs and I believe on tap at select retailers, apparently all summer long. So you can get it on tap in certain places, but they are canning it. This is the first time they've ever canned it.
Described as surprisingly delightful. Yeah, okay. All right, sure. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah. Well, apparently Coin Toss is throwing a pickle party, or they did throw a pickle party, and they served the beer along with their renowned peanut butter pickle bacon burger at their tap room, which doesn't score you any points with Steven.
I don't think it scores you any points with Gabe either, because I've heard of the whole peanut butter on a burger and even like a steak. We're not going to talk about that right now, but pickle peanut.
Yeah, this is a hard no from me. I mean,
Oregon, man.
If Oregon's doing something weird. Okay.
I don't know. I guess so. They have other good stuff, but Coin Toss. We'll talk. Let's talk about it.
We'll have a chat about it. All right. I'm a little nervous for this. I don't know how it's going to go, but here we go.
Here we go.
I propose a toast.
Pumped.
Hike with me up the Navarro to the Briney Highway, from Cloverdale to Boont, and deek the Anderson Valley Gano Beamch. If you abe a little, you may recognize many Kimmies and Appleheads, descendants of the original settlers who are now with Saul's grandmother. So here's the deal. There's a lost dialect specific to Anderson Valley, California. It's a tongue known as Boontling, and less than 100 people can speak it fluently. So if you're not one of those 100 people, here's what I just said. Come with me up the Navarro to the Sea Highway, from Cloverdale to Boonville, and see the Anderson Valley Apple Show. If you push your way in, you may recognize many men and women, descendants of the original settlers who are now dead. Now, why am I bringing this up? Boontling is a known as a lost language, and it's part of this brewery's identity. And many of their beers are named with Boontling terms. So to that end, Yibe, a backdated chuck, is no horner of Boont Region Steinber. So pour ye a heelch of Steinber or Fratty, yinks and minks, raise 'em up, and let's have a tidrick tonight. And what that means is only a person behind the times doesn't drink Anderson Valley beer. So pour us a huge glass of your favorite drink, boys and girls, raise your glasses, and let's have a party tonight. Bahl Hornin.
Bahl Hornin?
That means cheers. In Boontling.
Hornin. I want that on a t-shirt. That's wow, that was good. I liked that. You made it seem like it was good. You were like, I don't know, man. This is gonna be. I was like, what's he gonna say?
I put a lot of research into it. I had to dig. I had to do some. I had to go to the library over it. I had to dig up lost languages. It was a lot of work.
Wow.
And I hope I'm sure I mispronounced most of those words.
Bahl Hornin.
Bahl Hornin. Alrighty, Gabe, what are we starting off with here?
We're starting off with a Gose. Now, apparently, Anderson Valley is known for their Goses. They do it in strife, and they do it well. So we're starting off with the Briney Melon Gose. It is one of their year-round selections. It is coming in at 4.2% ABV, 12 IBUs. Untapped gave it a 3.77. Beer Advocate gave it an 88. On the SRM chart, I believe the brewery described it as a 6. I want to say yes to that.
Yeah, I would say 5 or 6. That's pretty solidly accurate. It's a it looks darker on the cameras than I think it is.
Yeah.
It's a golden, just a vibrant golden color, just pure gold, and it's hazy or cloudy. Definitely a lot of carbonation, a lot of zing to it. It looks.
Yeah, I would call it more cloudy. If you look closely, you can see bubbles forming. Doesn't seem to be a lot of lacing as it's going down kind of quickly. Did have a nice head retention when we both poured. I don't have anything anymore. I've got like this Stein V-shaped glass that I found, and I was like, ooh, this is cool. But I had a little bit of head retention when I first poured it. Right now, it looks like you have a ring. I don't have anything.
I have a ring, but when I first poured it, it was like, I would say 1.5 inches. Like it was a huge head that collapsed over time. And I would just like to point out, since you're holding the can to the camera, why don't you take it all the way up to the top there, Gabe? What does it say right at the top? What does it say right above Anderson Valley there?
Bahl Hornin!
It says Bahl Hornin. What did I say?
I never noticed that. Oh my God.
Bahl Hornin. I'm telling you, it's a huge part of their identity because that language, bootling, is indigenous to the Anderson Valley, and it's this like weird slang. It's not really a language, it's like a dialect, but it's this weird slang that like people there speak, and now less than 100 people still speak it. And they do like
Here's
a bootling
the thing,
word of the day at the brewery. Like
that's kind of dope to have like your own group of people, and it's just like if you want to talk crap about the person next to you, you could speak like French, but they might know it. But if they don't know this,
you could say whatever the words. It makes no sense, but that's an aside.
It makes no sense, but it makes all the sense. You know what I mean?
It's just the words that they choose to use. It's like their word for phone was because there was some guy who talked on the phone a lot. So they say it's like Charlie something, and that's what they call a phone.
That's funny.
From the brewery, this beer, a refreshing balance of juicy and tart, born from our passion for experimentation, our Briney Melon Gose boasts a thirst-quenching tartness that is perfectly balanced by subtle watermelon flavors and aromas. Gentle additions of sea salt create a refreshing harmony between the acidity and fruity sweetness, leading to clean, dry finish. And I should say, they have a number of Goses at the brewery, and what is interesting about this, so I mentioned at the top, Anderson Valley was founded in the 80s, like 87, I believe. Anderson Valley is largely credited with pioneering trends that are big on the craft beer scene in America. And so it was back in like 2013, which in 2013, I don't know where you were in 2013. Like, let's all think back. I didn't know what a Gose was. I learned about a Gose. Yeah, I know. I learned about a Gose in about 14, 15. But they started brewing Goses at Anderson Valley in 2013. It's this German style that at the time no one really knew much about, and they decided to revive it, bring it back.
Yeah,
and the trend kind of took off. So Anderson Valley, we can't say definitively that they started that trend, but they're definitely credited with it a lot, and so they know what they're doing around a Gose.
And it's really cool because, they have the little description about it. I won't read the whole thing, but they mention refinement of our kettle souring process. We finally created our original Gose recipe, which is the foundation for all of our flavored variations. So they have this sort of different recipe for each one with different added elements to it. This one has Chinook hops. The malts are pale two-row, malted white wheat, rice hulls. The yeast is their house yeast, and the adjuncts, as they're calling it, is watermelon. And that makes sense, because if you look at the can, where it says Briney Melon Gose, what does that kind of look like?
A sunrise, or is it a watermelon?
Or a watermelon. in 1987, because it says it at the top here, after Bahl Hornin.
Bahl Hornin. Yeah. So anyway, back to the beer. On the nose, I would up front, it's tart immediately. You notice that right away, but it's not the kind of tartness that comes off like a quickly soured, like kettle soured beer. It's sort of a softer tartness. It's definitely got some citrus behind it, some soft citrus. I would say apple. I would say definitely, obviously melon. Maybe a little bit of pear in there. And there's a good bit of sort of astringency or yeastiness to it. You can tell it's going to be sour, You know
how when you taste something like a candy that has like a watermelon flavor, it doesn't taste like watermelon, but it tastes like that sweet flavor. I feel like in this, it's more watermelon, the actual thing, rather than the like flavoring of it. And I really enjoy that. Just off of the nose. Yeah, exactly. It's fresh. It is fruity. It is funky in a way. It's got that tartness, but it's not too much. I'm wondering how much tart is going to be on the taste. I would assume a lot just because it's their style, but hey, maybe they made it smooth. I don't know. Honeydew, maybe.
Yeah, fresh melon, I think, is definitely what, it's like watermelon or cantaloupe or honeydew, like definitely some fresh melon. It's very, earthy and refreshing on the nose. It's got more sweetness than I imagine we're going to get on the taste, but it's subtle, but refreshing.
And it's only 120 calories. Hashtag staying skinny.
Hashtag beach bod. And I'll drink to that.
Hashtag hot girl summer.
Hey, Bahl Hornin, Gabe. Let's drink this Gose.
Bahl Hornin, Steven. Wow. Watermelon juice. Kind of.
Yeah, I'm surprised by how much fruit flavor we got off that. I kind of was expecting it to just be a nose thing. I don't know why.
It's not as I feel like it is tart. It's not as tart as I thought it would be. I'm okay with that. Very fruity, very flavorful. I would say it is kind of easy going down. Carbonation is medium. It's there. A little dry. It's got that saltiness in there. Gose made with salt. Mm-hmm. That's a thing they do. But it's pretty good. I like it.
There's a little bit of crackery malt, not much. It's in the background. I think what comes to mind for me, I'm struck by how juicy it is. And I really like it because so this is the thing. Sours aren't totally my thing. I think that's pretty clear on, it's not my go-to style, I should say. But I love Goses because they're tart, and there's a tartness to them. There's a crispness to them. I find them to be very refreshing, and there's a bite, a zing in your mouth, but it's not like kettle soured. It's not that like super astringent, like mouth puckering thing. It's more subtle than that because it's natural. It comes from salt water as opposed to, just souring it with some kind of agent or, it comes from the salt.
It's pretty great to know that they can do a kettle sour without making it taste like a kettle sour because like I'm not really getting a lot of it either.
I mean, a Gose technically is a kettle soured style, so that's probably not the best way of saying it, but it's just that this saltiness, like the salt water that's in it, adds a tartness that is also grounded, I guess. It's not sour Skittle. It's not puckering.
Yes, agreed. It's not that at all. It's refreshing. It's good. This is another one of those, I really like the sour style, so hit me with your best sour, and it's like, well, try this. Do you like watermelon? Sure. Bada bing, bada boom.
Right. Yeah, it's really good. And in terms of mouthfeel, like you were saying, it's crisp. It's definitely salty. I think it leaves your mouth pretty dry. Like it leaves you a little thirsty because of the salt. It's like it's refreshing in your mouth, but after the fact, you're like, oh, maybe I need some water or something. It's like, but it's perfect for, it's light. Again, it's 4.2% ABV. It's 120 calories. You could slam 6 of these to maybe get a little buzz going. And it's perfect for like this warm weather we've been having, for, the beach, the picnic, the backyard barbecue on a Sunday. This is a perfect go-to. Grab it, take it to the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe not this weather, because this is the type of weather where you take 2 steps outside and you start melting. Steven doesn't like the cold. I don't like the heat. We're like, we're like yin and yang in that way.
That's because you're in the wrong heat. That's just all there is to it.
Oh, New York is the wrong heat already.
New York is a bad heat. I don't know if our listeners, if you're not familiar, like once New York gets hot, that is
cut and
as
run.
Close to hell as I ever need to be.
Yeah,
it's just smells. There's weird smells coming out of things. I'm glad I don't live there anymore during that.
So don't drink this during that heat, but this is the summer picnic. There's a breeze heat. I don't know. California, let's just say it.
I just love how delicate it is. I love how intricate the flavors are. I love the interplay of the juice, the melon, the soft citrus that's in there, coupled with the saltiness of it. It makes for a really nice, really well balanced beer. I think if you like Goses, honestly, if you like Goses, like the melon thing is a little bit different. It's something a little new. It's something worth trying because it is. Do I think it's particularly innovative? It's not mind blowing, but it's just different. I don't see a lot of melon Goses.
Soft is a very good word. The other Goses they have Framboise Rosé, their cherry Gose, and their blood orange Gose.
See, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, that blood orange. That sounds cool. But I don't know, Framboise Rosé. I don't know.
Also sounds good. I would give that a go.
I'll try anything once.
Let's talk about the company a little bit. They were founded by David Norfleet along with Kim and Ken Allen in December of, as you said, 1987. In the beginning, they were very small. They were brewing on a 10-barrel brew house. They quickly outgrew that system. So they have since moved to obviously much bigger things. In 2010, in April of 2010, they were sold to Trey White and United States Beverage. So they owned them for about 9 years, maybe 10 years-ish. In December of 2019, the brewery was sold to the McGee family, and that's the family that currently owns it. So they've changed ownership a few times over the years, but always been Boonville bred, if you will. They're working on now, what, 100-barrel brew house?
100-barrel brew house, 26-acre property house, tasting room, beer garden, and is home to the first 18-hole disc golf course ever to be built at a brewery. So if anyone out there, including your brothers, likes disc golf, go visit this brewery. You can have a beer and throw the disc in the net.
Throw the discs around.
The discs around. I don't get how people do. It's frisbee to me, and I've never been good at it. But yeah, they moved a mile down the road, so their original location is very close by. They just packed up, moved a mile down. Boom, 26-acre property house, 100-barrel brew house. Not bad.
And at the time, as we mentioned, they were one of only 20 craft breweries in the country. Of course, now we have more than 8,000, but this is kind of a thing like when we talked about, last summer, we had Anchor on the show. We talked about them a little bit. Sierra Nevada definitely comes to mind. It's one of those breweries that was really doing craft beer before people were doing craft beer.
Yeah.
So they do really they're a trend-setting brewery, as evidenced by this Gose that we're drinking now. And I feel like because of the changes of ownership over time, like they're one that can kind of slip under the radar at times. Like I've known about Anderson Valley, but I wouldn't say I was very familiar with their beer.
Yeah.
Just because they tend to slip under the radar, especially being on the East Coast. But they're just a brewery that's been killing it for ever. They also, in 2011, in my view, took a huge step up when they partnered with Wild Turkey Bourbon and started doing some bourbon barrel-aged beers, which, I mean, we have to get Mike involved whenever we say.
Exclamation point!
Thank you, Mike. Mike approves. Yeah.
Which they're still doing today. So they, that gave them
today. The beers look incredible. I can't wait to talk about those later, but oh my, call a doctor. They look incredible. They've really, as you said, the trendsetters, they really want to do things, original, but bring back styles, aka the Gose style. I mean, they do it their way, and we love to see that. So I'm loving this.
And another trend that they were kind of on the forefront of is environmental initiatives. It's a big part of who they are. They even say on their website, we were green before it was trendy to be green, right? They installed a $860,000 solar array, which provides half of their electrical needs, more than that. In 2006, they did that. So that's way long ago. They've won the WRAP award, the Waste Reduction Awards Program. They've won that multiple years in a row. Their organic waste is recycled. They recycle their spent grain or give it to, local farmers, as well as hops and yeast.
Yeah.
They have their own wastewater treatment plant that they operate. Which they also use to irrigate the 28 acres of their brewery. Like, they have all different kinds of initiatives like this. It's a big part of who they are. And so again,
I would hope they would be green. Their mascot is a bear with antlers, and they need it to be green outside and to enjoy the nature.
In order to grow antlers on a bear, it has to be green outside.
It has to be green. How close is this place to San Diego?
Anderson Valley is more northern California, I think. But I can vet that because it would be really stupid if I was wrong about it. So let's double check and make sure I'm right about that.
Well, in the meantime, I just wanted to bring him out.
You stay classy, San Diego.
I don't know if it'll make sense.
That's
Probably
why you
not.
asked.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they're frankly nowhere near. They're north of San Francisco. They're north of Sacramento. They're up in the Mendocino County. They're very north.
Well, we've just missed so many opportunities to play him. Like, we've done so many San Diego breweries, and then like when we're done recording, we're like, oh shit, we didn't play Ron. So I just figured like maybe
why not?
Yeah, why not?
It's California. California is a big state.
Final thoughts.
I think this is surprisingly delightful. I love it. I think it's very well balanced. I think that if again, sour's not being my go-to style, Goza's not being my go-to style, but if I was at a party and someone was like, here, drink this, we don't have anything else, I would be perfectly happy with this. Might need a few of them to feel a little buzz.
Right.
But delicious, well-balanced, refreshing, perfect summer beer. Well done.
Samesies. I'm thirsty, but that's okay. It's from the salt. Refreshing, flavorful, wonderful, very straightforward. A winner. I would love to try the other Goses. I would love to see how they stack up against each other. And that's how I feel. And we have one more to drink, don't we?
We do indeed. Let's do number 2.
Ooh.
So it's the Tropical Hazy Sour Ale, which is an ale with passion fruit, guava, and coriander. It is, again, 4.2% ABV. The brewery has it at 12 IBUs. Color, very similar. They put it in the 5 to 7 range. I would say it's a little bit more golden than the other one, so maybe more towards 7 if we called the last one 6.
Mine looks very darker than yours. Interesting.
Yeah, probably just lighting. I mean, mine's like, It's just like, it's less hazy, so there's more like glow to it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Mine's, I wouldn't say hazy, I would say cloudy again.
Beer Advocate has it at 89, Untapped has it at 3.71. I'm drinking out of a Tiku glass. Gabe is drinking out of
T-clue glass.
A TQ glass.
T-clue glass. I said T-clue.
Because we're professionals. This poured with, I would say, a similar, maybe a little bit less, maybe like a half inch to inch of white, kind of frothy, fizzy head, which dissipated quickly. No lacing at all.
I still have like a centimeter of the head.
Yeah, you have a little retention.
Yeah.
So this is different. You know, it's not a Gose, it's a sour ale. The coriander is going to add a sour element to it. There's a bunch of fruit in there, like I said, passion fruit and guava. And this is a kettle soured beer, which is similar. It's a similar style to the Gose, but there's no salt water involved. So it's more of a direct souring, if you will.
And this is a newbie. It was first brewed in 2020. So this is very, very new. It won bronze award for the Australian International Beer Awards. So it's an award winner. Ayo.
Hops in here, Chinook. Again, the malts we have pale two-row, malted white wheat, and rice hulls. The yeast is their house yeast. So all of that is really the same as the last one. It's all the same information. The only difference here are the adjuncts, which is guava and passion fruit versus watermelon. Ooh. Again, not to beat this dead horse, but the difference being there's no salt water in here. It's not a Gose. It's a similar style, but it's not a Gose.
Oh, it smells very fruity and guava, and I feel like I should be like salsa dancing on the beach at night with a fire and some steak. Anyone else? Just me?
On an island somewhere?
It's on an island somewhere.
Yeah, it's got more tropical fruit than the last one. The last one was much more earthy, much more soft, much more delicate. This one is more pineapple, more passion fruit, some mango, green apple. You know, all that stuff comes through.
Lay down in a hammock and drink this.
Yeah.
Work on that suntan. Or in my case, sunburn.
Again, the tartness is there as well. Like, you can definitely tell it's going to be tart. Do I get coriander off it? I don't know.
I just feel like the other things are so much stronger that it may be hidden. I'm not really getting it either, to be honest with you, but maybe it's in the taste. I don't know.
The brewery's description: this beer is brewed to be pleasingly tart and refreshing using a traditional kettle souring method, similar to our renowned award-winning Gose series. Tropical flavors are introduced in the fermentation process through the use of real guava and passion fruit. Finally, we found that leaving the beer hazy resulted in a more aromatic beer and added to the overall balance of the beverage. As a bonus, we kept it low calorie and low carb. So,
oh, thank God.
This is our skinny episode of the
Hot Girl Summer, man. This is our Hot Girl Summer episode for sure. Yeah, I'm excited. It does smell tart, but it doesn't smell sour patchy at all. It smells fruity and delicious and wonderful. And I'm hazy sour ale. Those are three words I don't always put together. So I'm very excited.
Well, let's get into it. For the last time, Gabe. Bahl Hornin.
Ha ha.
Yeah. See, I've been ranting on the show about how kettle souring just makes a beer super tart and puckering to the point that it's a little unpleasant to me just because of my palate, and that's why I like the Goses. And then as we started to get into this, I was like, it's the same ingredients as the Gose. It smells like the Gose. This might be a kettle sour. No, I was right, and the beer tricked me. I was right. This is way more tart than the Gose. This is super puckering. This is super sour. It has those tropical fruit citrus notes. Definitely the blood orange, the passion fruit comes through. You get some guava, you get some mango, but it's very astringent. It's very salty. Might not even be the right word. It's very acidic. And it's very sour. If you like sour beers, you will like this, but if you don't like sours, this isn't going to get you into it. It's tart, like big time.
Yes. And to be fair, that first, I don't know what it is with sours, but for me, that first sip is so much different than every other one. Like, I've taken 3 sips. The first sip, I was like, whew, okay, sour patch, pucker up. But sips 2 and 3, it's there for sure. But I feel like once your taste buds and your tongue kind of get used to it, it's kind of a little more smooth sailing. However, yes, it is a lot more tart than the Gose. It's very different. It is still thirst quenching while also leaving you a little thirsty. The flavors are there though. I'm really loving the guava and the passion fruit. Coriander is hidden. They're shy and they don't want to come out to play.
It's very peppery in the mouth. It's got a whole lot of zing. In the mouthfeel is, I would say the carbonation is very high. I would say it's medium to light bodied in terms of flavor and in terms of like the overall mouthfeel, but the carbonation is very high. It's dry. I mean, to your point, I think it's a little bit more refreshing than the Gose, just because the Gose because of the salt that was in there and the salinity, it left me thirsty, like I needed water. This one I don't think does that quite as much because there's less actual salt in the beer. But
I think my favorite part is the back end. I really like what that last kind of, when you take that breath, the last final thing you're tasting is that fruitiness, and those flavors are really kind of just, I don't know how else to describe it. They're like dancing in your palate. I really enjoy it. I think it's cool. This is definitely not something I would normally reach for, so I'm glad we have it. I think it's fun. Bahl Hornin. And
it's just, it's just, I don't know what it is about kettle souring and that level of acidity. It's definitely the acidity. It's like, it is just, there's so much.
No, we get it. You hate it and you think everyone who makes kettle sours should go F themselves. That's cool.
If I'm going to reach for a sour beer, I'd rather have a beer that's aged in a feeder, fodder,
we still
whatever
don't know how
the
to
big
say
thing is.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a beer aged in that, or aged in a barrel, or soured in a cool ship, or a Gose, something that's soured in the tank, like a kettle soured beer. Even if the Gose is technically kettle soured, but when you do it this way, it is just so acidic that for me, it's not my jam, but for a lot of wine drinkers, it is. And that's why I think that, this kind of beer is important to have. And to your point, the flavors that are in there are really good. The tropical flavors are a really nice addition to this style. It is balanced. It is flavorful. It's quite a beer experience, given that it's, 100 calorie or whatever, 120 calorie, 4% beer. You're getting your money's worth.
Is it 120? Because I know the Gose is 120.
I don't know, but they mentioned
low.
how it's low calorie, and so how low can it be?
How
really?
low can you go? Yeah, I does it make sense to rank? I think it makes sense to rank these.
All right, well, that's easy for me. Gose kettle sour, but
I think I'm gonna choose Gose as well, but I'm not choosing it for that reason. I think my reason is just the flavor and the overall profile of it. The Hazy Sour Ale is good. I don't dislike it. I think it's for a very specific type of person, which is fine. But I feel like the Gose is more flavorful and is for a broader audience.
Yeah, it's just more delicate, and I appreciate it
a
little bit more. But that's not to knock. I think let's put it this way. They did a really fantastic job with both of these beers.
Yes.
One of them just happens to be less of our style than the other one.
Correct.
And that's not a knock on the beer at all. It's just our preference, but they did a great job creating two beers that are, and the Gose is like a go-to thing for them, So
it's really cool to see, this is what we do. It's like, well, we want to do that, but we also want the weird different stuff. And so I feel like we kind of touched on both of those, which is great.
Are you ready to talk about some outdated can art?
I am ready to talk about the throwback can art.
All right.
Can Art and Crafts.
Yeah, Can Arts and Crafts. We are back. Bob Ross is here, and he is joined by a very special guest today. I have with me Joey Bosa from the Los Angeles Chargers. Why do you have him? Because his nickname on the team is Big Bear. And that's the logo for the brewery, so I figured it'd be appropriate to have them both. They're buds, they're hanging out. Beer number 1, the Gose. We've got, the throwback logo is a bear with antlers drinking from a river. It's got the font with what appears to be some sort of sunset, but the colors, dark green, lime green, and reddish pink, indicate a watermelon. It's very eye-catching. This can art tells you what this beer is, and I appreciate that. So that's dope. Then we've got this trippy SOB. The Hazy Sour Ale has got the bear on it, but there's a lot of explosive green and purple and pink and yellow colors that are kind of very eye-catching and very almost psychedelic in a way. This is all I can describe it is as trippy. I really enjoy it. I think it pops. I think you've got the nature on one side, and then you've got the experimentation trippiness on the other. They've got the bear on all of the cans pretty much. I'm a big animal lover. JB Big Bear, as the Chargers call him, would appreciate that as well. I'm going to give this brewery and these cans an 8.4 out of 10 for the artwork. I think it's dope. I think it's very eye-catching. As I said, gotta love animals. Where often do you see a bear with antlers? And I'm giving it an extra point because the logo just shifted and it's a little bit different now. We unfortunately don't have it in front of us, but instead of a bear drinking out of a river, it's a bear just sitting right there with the antlers just looking at you like, what's up? You gonna drink this beer, motherfucker? So I think it's great. So for those reasons, I'm giving it an 8.4. And that is another great edition of Can Arts and Crafts. Joey Bosa, welcome, bud.
I don't want to give short shrift to some of the good initiatives and other things the brewery has going on. I did talk about their environmental work. And if you're on YouTube, you can see the tap room behind me, featuring a giant mural of the sun, which says solar-powered beer atop it. So that goes to what I was speaking about before. Since 1997, this brewery has also hosted the Boonville Beer Festival, and they continue to do it. The festival is held annually in the spring, features dozens of breweries from around North America, as well as live music performances. It's a whole thing, local foods, stuff like that, and all the proceeds from that are donated to local charities. So over the years, the brewery has done millions of, as of 2018, it was $1.6 million they had donated to local charities. So it's probably been more than that.
Not bad.
Of course, this year, like last year, was canceled, but, look forward to it coming back in 2022. So the brewery's dope. And then we should probably talk about what they got on tap.
They got a lot of good stuff. Right off the bat, all different styles, as you would imagine. But one thing that caught my eye very quickly that I'm looking at right now. I think I know where
you're going. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Black rice.
Oh, no. Almost. We were there. Well, I'll let you talk about the black rice, but I was talking about the Brute Extra Dry IPA, which is kind of sounds like the Brute Champagne. As Brute is a sparkling wine designation for being very dry, this IPA's main attraction is the nice dry finish that is perfectly balanced by fruity esters and a crisp malt backbone. It sounds dope. It looks dope. I want it. And that's that.
I'm not going to talk about the black rice. I feel like I shot that opportunity in the foot. That's my bad.
See, you started saying the B, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's going to say."
We're there. No. The can art is dope because it's just a solid black can, and it's just it's a beer brewed with black rice that happens to be 3.8% ABV and very low calorie, low carb, light little ale there. But no, I want to talk about their barrel series because god, we
have to.
They got a barrel-aged old fashioned, which is a cocktail in a beer. It reminds us of some beers we like back here from Two Roads. It's robust brown ale brewed with orange peel and Herzbacher hops, with
salted caramel porter,
fresh cherry puree, and then there's that one. Just come on,
aged.
I don't even know what to play for it.
Yay!
We'll give it a yay. We'll give it a. I already played Mike today, but yeah, it's just.
Age 6 months in bourbon barrels. I mean, age 6 months, age 6 months, age 12. Huge Arker is age 12 months. That's an Imperial Stout, right?
Bourbon barrel Imperial Stout. Yeah, but
Ooh.
I mean, the salted caramel porter, though, it's a sweet porter. Then they brewed it with these crystal malts as well as sea salt to create flavors of... No, wait a minute. Peanut brittle. Hold on, you're losing me. Is that...
Yeah.
There's no peanut brittle in this. Why you got to bring that up?
Because there's peanut brittle.
No, there's not. It's a salt... All right,
Oh,
that was unnecessary.
To create flavors of peanut
it's
brittle.
flavors, but like, why you... All right, whatever. The point is it's 9.5% ABV. It looks delicious. So, yeah,
Hey,
Anderson Valley...
Old fashioned in a can. You don't gotta tell me twice.
We're featuring sours, but they got so much more on tap. So check them out if you have a minute, or if you find yourself in the north of California, very far from San Diego.
If you see a bear with antlers, you're in the right place. You're never. I don't think you're gonna see that anywhere else.
And if you find yourself there, Bahl Hornin to you.
Bahl Hornin.
All right, Gabe, we have to go.
Last call.
We chose this topic very specifically. We really whittled it down just because we wanted to talk more about bears. So
Here's
we're staying
the
in the
thing.
bear family.
It started off as like, oh yeah, this is funny. Let's talk about this, and then it transitioned to, oh yeah, bears.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I was trying to make it sound like we did this on purpose.
Well, we did once we realized.
Do you want to take this?
Sure, why not? It's not every day that you wake up in the morning, you pour your fresh coffee, you're ready to take on the day, you're ready to go to work and really just be your A1 self. And you go to your car, and you're apparently living in Tennessee, and you go to your car and you realize there's a black bear in your car. Just in your car, just chilling, just hanging out.
Oh
just
my
shooting
God.
Shit.
Ew.
Yeah, I know, Alexis. It is you, but let's talk about it. A Georgia teacher visiting Tennessee woke up one morning to find a bear had locked itself in her parked car. Bears are very smart, apparently. I've seen videos of them opening doors and opening car doors. It's not news to them. They can do this. But this is funny as hell. She had her doors unlocked. She says, he ripped the dash, my airbag, the radio is out. He went through my glove box. But apparently, there was a Luna bar and a pack of gum, which he didn't touch.
Yeah, I don't know what he thought he was looking for or what he wanted out of that. My first question, my initial question when I read about the damage was, your insurance cover that?
Yeah,
you-
exactly.
do you
Hi,
go
so I had a bear in my car. They're like, yeah, okay, like whatever.
Yeah,
Like
why?
who would buy this?
Yeah, she woke up in the morning. She kept hearing honking, which, makes sense. The bear was trying to get the GTFO, and the dog was going crazy, and she looked out, and she saw the dog, the car, like, bouncing around, shaking. She's like, holy shit, there's someone in there. And then she called the police, and the police got there and realized it was a bear. They were able to get the bear out. The bear
Without hurting
was
it.
unharmed.
Yes.
Her
They
car,
literally, she called the police. They showed up. They unlocked it. They opened it a little bit, and then they all ran away. And then they ran out.
yeah, I would have used a fob or something. I mean, yeah, but so I like that the article ends with, folks, if you visit Gatlinburg, please make sure to lock your vehicle doors and don't leave food, as if this is like a major problem in that city. Like as if this is like a big issue in the Gatlinburg area of Tennessee. It's like, hey, if you visit our town, please lock your doors because our bears like to get inside cars.
Our bears want to drive. Yeah, I think it's hilarious. There's a video online of what's crazy is she's standing there filming it, and then you see the bear run away, and it is a black bear. I've come to find, and this is a straight fact, that black bears are the ones who are scared of people. If it was grizzly bear, you're done for it. You're dead. They're going to kill you. But black bear, they're just like, you yell, they're running away. And
yeah, black bears are super skittish. So we had a black bear visiting the old house over here too long ago. making multiple appearances until we finally decided to stop tempting it with bird feeders.
That's what it was. He was getting in the bird feeders, right?
Yes. But they are one sound. I mean, like we would, be super quiet and just watch it on our deck for a while and then be like, all right, go. Because I mean, it was like breaking the bird feeders.
Yeah.
But they're super skittish and they people don't really die. You can't. I wouldn't suggest approaching.
No, God,
said
no.
black bear.
No.
But this is a better case scenario than a grizzly. Although I'm not sure a grizzly would fit in her little Honda here. But
I will never forget that day. I was like, oh, I got a Snapchat from Steven. I'll look at that later. And I look at it. It's just a video of you just filming a black bear that's like, obviously the doors are shut, but he's like literally 10 feet from you, just like full like teenager grown size. I was like,
yeah,
that?
The funny thing about that is I was filming it in like selfie mode on my Snapchat, and I'm holding the camera and I've got the bear over my shoulder out the window. And then the bear starts approaching me, and like the end of the snap is me like, oh, and then you just see it cut out.
Yeah. That was wild. He had himself a feast.
Yeah, he had a meal. He sat down, he spread his legs, he laid out all that. They figured out, he dumped the bird feed. I mean,
they're smart,
they went to
man.
town. Yeah, they know what they're doing. Yeah, so apparently they can get into the car. They can't get out of the car, but they can get into the car.
Well, Mary Jane Yarbrough, she's an art teacher. I hope you told this story to your students. I'm sure they would love it. I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad no one got hurt, especially the bear. Everyone's fine.
Yep, everyone's fine.
Is hilarious.
Which is what makes it funny.
Yeah.
If anyone was hurt, it wouldn't be on our show.
It wouldn't be on our last call. Exactly. Yeah. So here we are.
All right, we have to go. We will be back next week with another round. Until then, at the HO Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, hit us up. I am at Shakespeareist. Gabe is at Gaberade67. You can find us over there, and we'll see you next week for another round of June drinking.
It's
Bahl
too
Hornin.
hot in New York.